Nepals TV.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roshan. Great to be with you.
So, how's your staying in Nepal nowadays?
Yeah, look, it's probably, I don't know, trip number eight or nine that I've been here now. Been here so many times, it definitely feels like a second home. I've said that a few times, and people have kind of noticed it. Been a brilliant trip, been really, really good. The cricket we've seen, I think, has been excellent. It's been a sign of the improvement under Pupudu Dasanayaka. I think the way that Khan have gone about organising this series after the disappointment of missing out on the World Cup, which was devastating, has been really, really key for the development of the young cricketers that are coming through. It's a very young squad, very talented squad, and it's a really exciting one. I think the biggest thing I would take from this entire series, we always talk about Paras Khadka and Shakti Gochan and Basnet Regmi as being the heroes, the idols of the game here. I think we're seeing new ones being born. The reaction and the reception, particularly for Dipendra Singh Airi and Rohit Paudel and even young Mohammad Adil Alam, next level. It's been fantastic.
You are a celebrity for Nepali supporters, and they always willing to take selfie with you. How happy is it for you?
Yeah, I'll be really honest, it's very surreal. I love commentating, I love cricket, I love everything about Nepali cricket. I think that comes across, that's very genuine. There's nothing ungenuine about me, I am exactly who I am. So for me to come here and get the reaction I get every time I come here is incredibly humbling. Very surreal, because I'll walk about every other country on the planet and I'll walk about like anyone, and then you walk around in Tamil and they say, "Oh, hi Andrew, thanks for coming to do the commentary," and you say, "Oh, it's my pleasure, it's great to be here." And then of course when you're at the ground at the games, the fanaticism is just next level. So yeah, I probably took, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 selfies on this trip, and I just couldn't get the smile off my face. I had to keep smiling.
Is this the motivating factor to come again in Nepal?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't say I've got an ego and that would be the reason I come. I come because I genuinely love it here, and I believe in this cricket team. I believe in associate cricket generally. It's not just Nepal that I love coming to. I love travelling the world. I love telling the stories of associate cricketers and those who don't get the light shined upon them that they deserve. So I think Nepal sits in that category in a big way. And I think the potential for the game here is second to none. I put up a video the other day. I specifically wanted to get this point across, that there should be bigger countries coming here, and they would have the most brilliant experience off the pitch, with the hospitality, the food, the culture, the welcome, the temples, the city. It's the most brilliant city. I love it. But also the cricket. The cricket is really good. It's getting better and better. And I think you could look anywhere in the bottom 4 or 5 test nations in the world, bring them here with their full team. And okay, they may win the series, but they're not going to have it all their own way. I'd include Sri Lanka in that, I'd include Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, Ireland, Afghanistan. They would come here, they'd have really good competitive series. Yes, they may win, and they might even win the series. Let's say it's a T20 series, they might win it 3-0. But they're not going to have it all their own way. And this side is getting better and better. And I know there's been a lot of silliness and politics in the background. I don't get involved in them, that's not me. It never has been in anywhere in the world. I don't understand them. But one thing I do see is a genuine enthusiasm and passion amongst a young group of cricketers under a brilliant head coach, and it's very exciting.
So whenever you came to Nepal, you come to Nepal, you always go with audience, and between the audience and take some, what do you call it, reading the commentary also, take some room and do something. What is that real factor of all that?
Well, look, I think the reason you do it, like any broadcasting, you want it to be entertaining and you want it to be fun. And what is the thing that makes Nepali cricket unique? It's the crowd. Okay, there's brilliant skills on the pitch, and I'm not in any way diminishing that. Sandeep Lamachani is one of the best leg spinners in the world. I think Dipendra Singh Airi is one of the best three-dimensional cricketers in the world. He should be playing in franchise leagues. If he's not, it's pure ignorance from bigger countries. But the thing that makes it really unique, 12,000 people on a Monday afternoon with a game starting at 12:30 on a workday at the start of the week. I think if we were in India, Australia, England, South Africa, you would not get that. So that is entirely unique, and it's what makes it so special. So for me to get up there and feel the energy of the crowd, and to get that across to people at home on the broadcast, yes, it's a bit crazy and chaotic and everyone shouts, but that's cricket is entertainment, it's fun. We've just lost probably the greatest entertainer in the history of our game in Shane Warne. I've spent the last month thinking about him every day, and he spoke about that at length. Cricket is entertainment. right? The real worries in life are other things in life. Cricket is entertainment, it should be fun, so we should be embracing the fun.
You said that you came here 7 or 8 times. And then what does that things always keeps you bringing you?
It's a bit like an addiction, isn't it? I can't get enough. Every time I leave, I'm sad. Every time I come back, I get the most amazing welcome, but I get a real buzz. Even just when you fly in, most of the flights I take, they come in overnight through maybe Istanbul or the Middle East, and if I'm on a Turkish Airlines flight coming in the morning, and the mornings are always clear here, you see the Himalayas, and you just go, this is unbelievable. And then you come in with that amazing landing, and you go, God, I'm back. And then you look out and you see the chaos in the city, the traffic, the energy, the buzz, and you just don't know where it's all going to go. Things are often a bit manic, a bit crazy, a bit unorganized, but my God, they're incredible and they're never boring. And I love it here, and that's very genuine.
When you came here first time, did you think that this kind of environment will be there in Nepal when you came?
I had absolutely no idea what to expect outside of what I'd seen in terms of previous games, the infamous crowd troubles in 2010 against USA, those huge crowds against Kenya, I think that was 2015-16. I knew about the issues with the board being suspended that are now, thank God, remedied, and CAN are coming together and uniting really well. Binod Das is doing the most fantastic job in particular, and all of the board members. But I have to give huge credit to Kevin O'Brien. If it wasn't for Kevin, I would never have come here. Amir Akhtar, the Everest Premier League owner, was looking for foreign commentators. Already just started in that world after leaving ICC in 2017. And Kev said, come on, mate, this will be amazing. You're good enough to come here. And I said, okay. I said, well, how do I set it up? Chatted to Amir. Came, and I had no idea what to expect in terms of the scale of fanaticism and the scale of love. There seemed to be an immediate bond for some reason between myself and the Nepali fans. I think probably because of the passion for the game. My passion for the game is it's what keeps me 16, 18 hours a day. I love cricket. I was watching YouTube videos this morning on the game. I'm a cricket nerd. I'm a cricket tragic. I always have been. I never quite made it as a player. I tried making it as a coach. I moved into administration, and now maybe this is what, I don't know, maybe it's what I was meant to do. I just love commentating. I love spreading the passion and the joy of the game, but it's been brilliant every second of it.
When you came last time in Nepal, PNG and USA Tri-Cities, and you landed first in the morning, and you came to Tube International Cricket Stadium, I gave you one plate of momo, and then you give the picture and send me the Kevin. What was that actually?
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago, just before the pandemic, wasn't it? And it was like getting back to home, yeah. And the welcome, again, I think I'd come off an overnight flight, so I was probably quite tired. And this lovely plate of momos, I remember the sauce was all over the top of them. And I said, God, this is welcome back. I'm ready to go for commentary. There was something, again, none of us had any expectations, myself, Kevin or Paul Sterling, who were kind of like a trio. We're great friends for a long time back home. But this bonded us even closer, the first Everest Premier League we came for. And just every night we'd find a different bar, we'd go to Trisara and do our marg, we'd get the chicken kote momos, some Gorka beer, and we were happy as Larry. And the fact that Paul Sterling, who is a global superstar of the game, and he's played in almost every league in the world, I think almost everything barring the IPL now, just been signed by the CPL, for example. He was a player of the series last time in the 100. He's played everywhere in the world, and he still says this is probably his favourite trip. Loved it here.
In Nepal, Scotland and Ireland came here to play. What is their thought about the Nepal and Nepal soccer fish? What do you want to say?
Yeah, so I think many of those countries should be looking to come here more often for a couple of reasons, not just the atmosphere, the experience, the quality of cricket, but also getting access to the different conditions from Europe. You know, for Ireland and Scotland, they play a lot of cricket on green, seaming wickets with a lot of rain around. They wouldn't play on a lot of turning decks. The only times they do is when they go to the Middle East. So to come here for a series that, okay, it might have rankings points on it, but it wouldn't be part of a qualification structure, is only going to aid their young cricketers. Scotland in particular, probably the leading associate in the world, in my opinion. I think they are ahead of Nepal, particularly in ODI cricket. I think they would love it here. I know Kyle Coates loved his time here in the Everest Premier League, and I think that again, that would be a highly competitive series. And if we're getting 12,000 on a Monday, and I mean this with the best respect to Papua New Guinea, because I love their cricket, I love the way they go about it. But if you brought some bigger sides here, what are we going to get? 20, 25,000, they'll be up in the trees. Like, it would just be remarkable. So I think I know from some initial discussions that the Cricket Association of Nepal and Cricket Ireland and the like are having, hopefully it will happen in the future. The problem is these days the international schedule is so squeezed. For Nepal with Cricket World Cup League 2 having to get that into a reduced period thanks to COVID, and then for Ireland and the Netherlands and the likes of those countries, the Test nations, having to finish out their Super League programmes before going to a qualifier in 2023 that hopefully Nepal will be at if they can get there. It's just there's so few windows left in the schedule, but let's hope it's going to be sooner rather than later. Yeah.
So when you think that, or when you plan to come to Nepal, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when traveling to Nepal?
I get an amazing buzz, like in Ireland, an energy. There's a vibrancy here that is unlike anywhere in the world. And look, the city is not perfect. There's infrastructure issues, it's dusty, there's air pollution. But there's something about this place, when you get to know it, it gets under your skin. And you have this culture of amazing people, amazing food, amazing cafes. And I'm so glad that the worst of the pandemic is now over, because when I came last year for the Tri-Series, it wasn't the same. We were in a bubble. I don't think we might have got out one night, and maybe I shouldn't even be saying that. Maybe we weren't allowed to get out, but it wasn't the same, and it was the same for the whole world. It was a terrible couple of years. Hopefully that is all behind us. But yeah, it's a city unlike any other. It feels like a second home, and there's just places I love getting up towards Patan Durbar Square, anywhere in Lalitpur, even sometimes evenings out down in Tamil. I love Durbar Marg, and yeah, we just get incredibly well looked after, and it's an amazing place. I love it.
What is the interesting thing that you find in Kathmandu, especially in Tamil?
In Tamil? I'm not sure I can say these things on air. Look, Tamil is the hub of the nightlife, and where all the adult entertainment is, the discos and the dancing bars. I'm getting to a stage in my life where I prefer a cafe where I can have a few beers and have a good conversation, and maybe have some live music in the background quietly. I think the LOD and the Fahrenheit, I think they're a bit beyond me. I have been to them, I'm not going to say I haven't. But yeah, maybe I'll visit those less and less, and I'll spend more and more time in the brilliant cafes. And the food, unbelievable.
So what kind of food did you try?
I have a bit of everything. Usually what we start with is some momos, but you wouldn't just eat momos for the night. So you might get some chicken kote momos, and then you might ask for, what's the platter that you do here particularly. A couple of the little places I go over in Lalitpur in particular, you go into these small cafes where you literally see the chef, and the chef will come to you and you say, look, we've only really got pork tonight, or we've only got beer. And you're like, okay, well, let's have that. And I love that, because that's real. It's not like, okay, we've got this menu with 700 things in it and you can pick what you want. It's like, this is what's fresh, try this, it will be good. And the chef gets cooking in the background, the waitress brings you a gorka, whoever you're spending your evening with, usually a local person who's telling you something about what's going on with the game here. All the journalists have so many friends with journalists here who are incredibly good to me, because I fully acknowledge I'm an outsider here. Some people are saying you're like a fully citizen, but I'm Irish, I'm born and bred Irish. I love Ireland, but the welcome here and the way I've been taken in has been completely overwhelming. So I need to learn more and more Nepali language. I think that's the next step.
So you are enjoying with Nepalese hospitality and their warmness.
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, it's second to none, mate. It's so. You might have thought, or sorry, anyone might have thought before they came here for the first time, particularly someone like me who'd spent a lot of time in the subcontinent, in other cricketing countries, in Bangladesh, in India, in Sri Lanka in particular. I've spent a lot of time there with ICC. You might have thought, it's going to be very similar, but it's tangibly very different. I don't know whether it's the Buddhist background here or what exactly it is. People are definitely easier going. They're very funny. Like, they laugh at everything. Even when things are going terribly wrong, they laugh about it at great length. And I'll be like, guys, this is a disaster, it's a shambles, we're in big trouble. And they'll just laugh. They'll be like, well, look, that's the way it works here. And Kevin O'Brien said something to me the first week I was here, and it's the best piece of advice I've had, and I don't know where he got it from, probably from all of his time travelling around the world playing international cricket. He said, go with the flow. Don't fight against. If you get upset by small things and expect, ludicrously high standards, or you want things to be the best, you're going to end up frustrating yourself and probably frustrating the people you're with. So I've tried to live by that at all times. Sometimes I need a kick to remind me about it, to just relax. But it's genuinely, it's second to none here. I absolutely love Kathmandu. I know a lot of people come here for trekking. I haven't really done any of that. I went up to Chandagiri Hills once with Matt Floyd, the Sky Sports broadcaster, who came last year. But I think just the city itself, you don't get as many tourists as you might expect in the city. They come and then they go. They might spend one night and go. Get into the atmosphere of the city. It's amazing.
So you travel all around the world. And which country do you go to love most?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in the USA. I have a retainer with the guys there, and do a lot of work with USA Cricket, who are doing a brilliant job at finally capitalising on the potential for the game there. It's actually, there's similarities to Nepal in many ways. There's a lot of cricket played there. Well in excess of 100,000 weekly cricketers are playing every week, and that's many more than most test nations even. So there's a huge fanaticism for the game, driven by a lot of the expats that have come in, but also now second, third generation guys who may have had families originating in India or Pakistan or the Caribbean countries. A lot of South Africans there as well. And yeah, that's a country I love spending time in. I went there as a 21-year-old for a couple of years, so Irish people have a big affinity in America. A lot of time through Africa as well. Really enjoy my time in Namibia, Zimbabwe. Tend to be on the road about 9-10 months of the year, so it's, as long as it's not boring, I'm happy. If I'm static for too long, I get pretty bored. And I don't mind if it's 30 days in the one place, that's fine, because there's an adventure and there's something to do there. But if I was back home for 8-9 months at one time, which I was during the pandemic, I'm starting to lose my mind, yeah.
So, yeah, at the end of the talk. And then, how long will you be in Nepal?
So, what you might hear, as long as this doesn't publish at any time too quickly, we might give you a wee exclusive. Yeah, I'm hoping to get down to Barawa for the first time. I've never been to Barawa for this Pro Club Championships, which is going to be really exciting. The Fantasy Attica Pro Club Championships. And yeah, that's going to be, I think it's 5 Nepali sides, or maybe 4, and 2 Indian, and 1 Bangladesh, and the Malaysian guys are staying on and playing as a Malaysian 11. And I gather quite a few of the national team players are going to play in that. So look, huge credit to Amir and Zara and their team for taking on something new. Obviously the Everest Premier League will still be the pinnacle of the T20 game here, but this is something new for the club game, and probably like something I see an issue with in Irish cricket is we put so much resources into the top 15 or the top 20 players, understandably, because we have a small pool of players. It's difficult to almost find that next generation of guys. Inter-Pro cricket only has it's now got 4 teams, but this is hopefully going to unearth us a gem or two, I reckon. How have we found the likes of Kushal Malla? How have we found the likes of Sandeep Lamachani? Let's hope we're going to find some young kid who bowls brilliant left. I think it's going to be a left arm spinner, isn't it? We need another left arm spinner in the mix, who's going to jump onto the scene and get wickets against the Ranji Trophy players that are coming from India, or the Virendeep Singh and the impressive Malaysian side, Syed Aziz and all the guys. So I almost feel like this trip for me to Barawa is a bit like my first trip to Kathmandu. I don't know what I'm going into. I don't know what the ground is like too much. I don't really know a huge amount about the city. I know we're heading south down towards the Indian border. I heard it's pretty hot. I heard it's very hot. So I'm hoping they might let me commentate in a polo shirt or some shorts, who knows. But yeah, again, really looking forward to it. And yeah, that's just come up in the last 24, 48 hours. So really excited about that.
So at last, you follows associate cricket for a long time. And then what is the things that needs to be changed or improved in Nepal last year?
Yeah, look, my passion for associate cricket comes from where I'm from. I'm Irish. I've always come from an associate nation. Yes, we're a test nation in name now, but that's only come thanks to amazing work from a decade plus of administrators in Cricket Ireland that I was a tiny part of for a couple of years. Warren Dootram and his team done an amazing job. Ross McCollum, the chairman, the last 10 years, phenomenal. But I think the learnings from that are that your off-field stuff is almost as important as your on-field stuff. If Ireland didn't have the stuff right in the boardroom, with Ross McCollum fighting the cause at the ICC, it probably never would have happened for them. Although they were getting the best results of all the teams. So now, if Nepal can start getting the best results of all the teams, which I think they're on the right path to doing under Babu Dasanayak, Binod Das, all these guys, they were desperately unlucky not to qualify for a World Cup 2 months ago. And I genuinely think if Sampal Kami and Karen Casey were fit at that time, they would have qualified. They won 4 of 5 matches. They hadn't played much. And even if they were in the other qualifier that's in July in Zimbabwe, I believe they would have qualified. So that will come. Might have to wait 2 years for that, for 2024 in the West Indies and the USA, where 20 teams for the first time will qualify. So surely that should be a really good chance. But they've got to do, the Cricket World Cup League 2 games are utterly vital. Got to finish in the top 3 in that competition, hugely important, and they're going to come thick and fast. And then get things right off the pitch in terms of your administration. The one thing probably missing here, that's as much missing in Ireland, is some better facilities. The TU ground is awesome. I love it with a deep passion. It's one of my favourite grounds in the world. But that's just one ground, and even the outfield is, with no rain, it was very difficult. I wouldn't change the grass banks and all that, but maybe the infrastructure around the pavilion, the media centre, the changing rooms could do with, over the coming years, an upgrade. I don't know where the stadium, the crowd-funded one, is at now, the Gautam Buddha. But if they could certainly get 2 or 3 facilities around the country, that would be a big, big boost. Can you imagine floodlights at the TU International Cricket Ground, nighttime crowds in Kathmandu? That would be magic. But all of these things, they cost money. And I understand it's still a developing country here, but there is something there that no one else has, which is the passion and the fan following and the obsession. Front page of the paper, I came into this hotel last night when I checked in. Dipendra Singh Airi, full page, hailing the crowd with a bat out, full front page. You don't get that anywhere else. And that's for a tri-series, again, with the best respect in the world, against the 19th and the 33rd ranked side, where they've won all 5 games and played brilliant cricket. So look, their T20 stuff's going brilliantly. Real focus now the next 6, 12, 18 months, their ODI cricket. If they can finish top 3, obviously Oman are almost locked up in one of those 3, so it's really 5 sides fighting out for 2 spots. Papua New Guinea are basically gone with their terrible start. Those games are so important, starting in America in about a month's time. Yeah.
So nowadays Oman, UAE, even USA has enlisted all our team cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then do you think that Nepal will comes behind if we don't invest in time in cricket?
Yeah, I suppose it's difficult to say which of the nations is going to make the next step. I think the brilliant thing about the next right cycle of the ICC 2024 to 2031, which is directly in contradiction to 2015 to 2023, they've gone back to expansion. And, thank God they've done that, because it's the best decision possible. 20 teams in a men's T20 World Cup, back to 14 teams in the men's ODI World Cup. We'll have to wait till 2027 for that, albeit. The women's tournaments are expanding fantastically as well. That is such a good sign. I almost don't think that test status and playing 4-day domestic cricket and test cricket is the ultimate anymore, even though Ireland had to do that to get full membership. And there's been talk of decoupling, I think it's already decoupled, the need for full membership of the ICC, which gets you enhanced access to cash and money, alongside the need to play 5-day test cricket. So if you look at what the Netherlands are doing, what Scotland are doing, what Oman are doing, putting a gigantic focus, USA as well, Namibia, on their white ball game, getting to those global events, because that gives you the chance to attract sponsors to the game, further eyeballs to the game, exposure. The number of cricketers who have seen their country on the television for the first time at a World Cup, and that's the reason they played, is it's almost all of them. Sandeep Lamichhane, first he watched in 2014 T20 World Cup. I think Dipender Singh Ari was the same. Rohit Powdell said the same. In Scotland, all of the guys who came through their golden generation they have now watched the 1999 World Cup. Callum MacLeod speaks about it fondly. Kyle Coates speaks about it fondly. For me, it was the same. In 07, watching the boys at the World Cup for the first time gave me, wow, this is real. We can actually do this. So, yes, there was 8 years of ICC events with restricted numbers, and I can't say I supported that. I thought that was a very, very poor decision. It was driven by not only money, but it was also driven, in my opinion, by flawed logic and flawed knowledge and flawed understanding of what the associate nations bring to the games, to all the World Cups. We saw 2 associates qualify for the Super 12, 2 test nations knocked out, Bangladesh and Ireland. Zimbabwe didn't even qualify, even though they weren't allowed to qualify. And I think when we get to 2024 in the West Indies and USA, if we see the 8 associates, as it will be at a minimum, it might be more than 8 associates if one of the test nations doesn't qualify. If there can be a real focus for those teams that qualify on competing and going well at that tournament, that's going to be the future. And then who knows, we might see a 24-team T20 World Cup within another 8 years, and hopefully getting to parity with the likes of with soccer, with rugby, with basketball, and really growing the global game. T20 is the vehicle without doubt, and the move by the ICC to make all T20Is official T20Is for all 106 members, brilliant. And that has been, it might just be a status, but that's been game changing. For Hungary to be able, Czech Republic to be able to play an official T20 international, albeit on an artificial wicket in the middle of Europe. His records count, and her records count just the same now. Germany, their women's game coming up, Brazil's women's game, flying up the rankings. There's just such potential when you give sides opportunities, and that's all it's really about, exposure and opportunity. There's no shortage of skill or talent in the associate nations. It's exposure, opportunity, facilities, and regularity of playing each other. That's all it is.
Thank you for your time.
Lovely to chat to you, and just thanks so much for being here with me. Cheers.